Hello everyone. So in this lecture we are going to discuss about objects and classes. Now in the previous lecture we have already talked about the four pillars of OOP, of object oriented programming, which were your encapsulation, then abstraction, then we had inheritance, and we had polymorphism. So when we talk about objects and classes, we are going to look at two things: encapsulation and abstraction. So let us start with what we mean by a class and an object. So we have, when we say an object, we mean an entity which has some features which describe the entity, and we have some behavior or action. Okay, these actions will tell how the entity will what the entity will do, or what the entity can do. So we have features and we have actions. So together the features and the action, they describe an object. So an object is a real world entity, and it is an entity of the real world, and it is described by features, and it can perform some action. Let us look at this with an example. So let's say that I have a dog. Okay, I have a dog. Let's say the dog has a name. Okay, let's assume that the name of the dog is Tommy. Very typical. Then the dog is of a particular breed. All right, let's say it's a local breed. All right, then the dog has a color. Let's say the color of my dog is black. So these are some of the features that you can use to describe my dog. Not just any dog. These features will only describe the dog that I have. So it is my dog only, which is described by, who has the name Tommy, who is a local breed, and it is black in color. Along with these, my dog can also perform some actions. Like, say for example, that my dog can run. Okay, my dog can bark, and maybe my dog can bite. So these three that you see, these describe what? The actions that my dog can take, or rather the actions that my dog can perform. All right. So we are talking about one particular dog whose name is Tommy, who is a local breed, who is black in color, and who can run, bark, and bite. And that is my dog. Let's say that now I have a friend. So I have a friend who also has a dog. So there is my friend's dog. So let's say this dog also has a name. Let me call this dog Pluto. Again, very typical. Then it has a breed. Let's say it's a lab. It's a Labrador. So this is a breed of this dog Pluto. And then color. Let's say the color is, okay, what? White. So these three features describes my dog, my friend's dog. And again, this dog also can perform some actions like it can run, it can bark, it can bite. Okay. So these are the actions that it can perform. So if you see, my dog has a name, breed and color and can perform these actions. Similarly, my friend's dog can run, bark and bite, and it has these four different features. Now each of these, whether it is, say this is my dog or it is my friend's dog, they have certain features like name, breed, and what was the other one? Color. Okay. So name, breed and color. And then it can perform some actions like run, bark, and bite. Similarly, this dog also can run, bark, and bite. So now we can say that both my dog as well as my friend's dog, both of these are objects. Both of these are objects because my dog exists in real life. It is an entity in real life. It is described by these features and it is described by these actions that it can perform. Similarly, my friend's dog is distinct from my dog. Okay, they are not the same. Okay, they are different. They are quite distinct from each other. And my friend's dog is described by these features and it can perform these actions. So these you can think of in terms of objects. So my dog is an object, my friend's dog is an object. If you have a dog, your dog is also an object. Now coming to a class. Okay. Now I can define a class or I can have a grouping of all dogs in the world. All dogs in the world. So all dogs in the world can come under, or rather let me say, all pet dogs. All pet dogs will have a name. So I am making this set a little bit more restrictive by saying that all pet dogs. So all pet dogs in this world, I can put it inside a particular grouping called a class. So I can have a class called dog. All right. And this is like a grouping of all dogs, all pet dogs in the world. Okay. So this is what we mean by a class. A class is a, you can think of it as a, let me use a different color. A class, you can think of it as a template. It's a template. And out of this template, you can have as many objects as you want. So my dog belongs to this class of dogs. My friend's dog also belongs to this class of dogs. My student's dog also belongs to this. My neighbor's dog also belongs to this. So like this, every pet dog in the world will fall under this category of, or this classification of dogs. So this is a class. So this, what we are describing here, this is a class. So it is a template. But what has actual existence? It is not the class, it is the object. So class, you can term it as a blueprint blueprint, or you can call it a template, okay, which will describe how all dogs will look like, with what some features that every dog will have, every pet dog will have, and the actions that every dog can perform, okay. But it does not exist in reality. There is no physical existence of the class of dog as such. Instead, what exists physically are the objects. So objects, that's why we say, are real world instances of a class. So if dog is the class, if dog is the class, then my dog, Tommy, is an object. So once I have a class, I can have as many objects as I want. Another example could be that of a card. So I may have a class called card. Okay, so this is the class. Okay, then my card can be an object because it has a physical existence. All right, your card can be another object, and so on. So this is the basic idea behind behind your classes and objects. Objects are real, classes are templates. Okay, it's like the design. Okay, you have a design, class is the design, and object is what you actually make out of that design.